Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to Live with CXPA. I'm Gabe Smith, CCXP, and we are so excited to welcome you to this LinkedIn Live to share some exciting new developments in the Customer Experience Professionals Association, as well as to have a conversation with you and hear your thoughts and reactions to these developments. So, throughout this session today, over our next hour or so, we'll be having a number of special guests from CXPA leadership. And we need you. We need your comments and we need your engagement. So please feel free to chat with us via the comment section of LinkedIn. We'll address your comments during the show as we're able. So to get us started, please tell us where you're watching from. Greg, who's going to be joining us in a second, says he's watching from Columbia, South Carolina, but would love to hear from others who are watching on this the stream. We've got Nigeria. Nigeria is in the house. Great to see everyone. We've got California, Barcelona. Welcome, Sonia. Brazil, Edson. Glad to have you with us. We've got Spain. Jose, welcome. Dubai, Colombia. Coming in too fast for me to post them all. I see Ghana, Botswana, Saudi Arabia, Cape Town. Amazing. Madison, Wisconsin, Tel Aviv. Love to see the global diversity here with us today. Keep posting where you're listening from. Love seeing this. But I want to welcome, get right to it and welcome our first guest to the program, and that is Annette Franz, CCXP, board chair of CXPA. Welcome, Annette.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good evening, wherever you are. Sounds like we've got quite the global audience. So, and you know what, honestly, I hate to do that good morning, good evening thing, but as soon as good morning came out of my mouth, I had to correct myself because I know it's not morning for everybody. So yeah, great to hear and see such a great, diverse, geographically diverse audience. So excellent.
Yeah. And Annette, I know you're excited to share some of the developments. So I want to turn the stage over to you to do that.
For sure. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for another town hall. If you missed the one in August, it was great. We got a ton of feedback from members. And as you know, we are by member for member. So we'd love to get your feedback. So welcome to our town hall today. I don't have to tell you guys that 2020 has been just a crazy year. We've got 2 more months. We can do this. We can make it to 2021. But for the CXPA, it's really been a year of reflection, right? Obviously coming into 2020, we didn't know what this year held for us. But in the end, here we are in starting the 11th month of the year, and we've just done some really amazing things. A lot of those things came as a result of feedback from you guys, right? So what we've done is really had a year of reflection, right? To ensure that what we're doing and what we're planning to do really shapes the CXPA of the future that we all want to have. It's really been a year of innovating, of clarifying, of codifying, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we dive into some of the other announcements. We're really proud of the work that we did this year, and again, a lot of it is a result of the feedback that we've gotten from you. In late September, we held our annual board strategy retreat virtually. And we had 2 really solid days of great conversation, great engagement, and probably, I've been on the board for 5 years now. It's probably one of the most, if not the most productive strategy sessions that we've had in those 5 years. So we came away with a lot of clarity around what CXPA is all about, who we really are, right? What a CX professional is, what our mission is, what our vision for the future of CXPA is, at least for the next 3 to 5 years. As we roll over into 2021, we're about to celebrate our 10th year anniversary. And are we still the same CXPA that we were, 10 years ago? So a lot of exciting things to be announced today, including what I just mentioned, the definitions, the mission, the vision. And we're really looking forward to your feedback, to your engagement, to your thoughts, and, to the things that we're announcing, but also What are you thinking of for 2021 and beyond in terms of how the CXPA can help you? So I'm really looking forward to the conversation today. I apologize in advance. I need to drop off around 20 or 25 after because I've got a client meeting at the bottom of the hour. But really, we'll follow up with the video of this to hear the last half hour that I'll miss. So with that, I will turn it over to our beloved CEO. We have an amazing CEO, Greg Melia, to take you through a few updates on his own.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you for those kind words and for your leadership throughout 2020. This has really, as Annette said, been an amazing year, and it's given us an opportunity to really do a lot of listening, a lot of consideration, a lot of connection, new voices being brought to the table, but consistent throughout our long-term members and the new folks that we've been speaking with is that people really value CXPA's role in celebrating the customer experience professional and supporting customer experience professionals in their success today, as well as their future career. And this feedback's really been the cornerstone of how we were setting those priorities that Annette talked about in that September planning session together. And we sort of distilled that all down. We've got it under 1 minute because we want to be able to share it on Instagram. So here is a premiere of a new brief video that we'll be using to amplify these messages and to raise awareness of the importance of customer experience professionals.
A customer experience journey begins with the customer experience professional. The customer experience professional is a catalyst. They enhance an organization's results by understanding, designing, and improving experiences across the entire customer relationship. CX professionals work as partners to achieve exceptional outcomes for the organization and its customers. They intentionally work to understand customer needs and how to meet or exceed their expectations. CXPA is the organization that helps CX professionals be the best that they can be, both today and throughout their career, through learning, sharing, and connecting with a global CX community. CXPA recognizes, inspires, and supports CX excellence. Visit cxpa.org and join today to grow your CX success.
Wow, that meant a lot to me. I feel that it delivers on what we've been talking about together. And what I wanted to do is to check in with you and to give a chance. Please drop your comments in the chat to share with us your thought and feedback. And Gabe, can we go ahead and drop the slide up so that people can see that definition together with the mission statement and our vision for the future? Let's see. Awesome. Our mission, we support CX professionals to share, learn, inspire, and grow throughout their entire career. And we'll know that we're successful when there is a world of exceptional outcomes inspired by empowered CX professionals. Thank you, John. I think this continues giving CX professionals credibility. In fact, we have 4 pillars of our 2021 work plan: career, community, credibility, and content. Thanks, Nate. It's good to receive those kudos and good to see you on the town hall. I hope that things are treating you well.
And thanks Isabel, for pointing out that I'm on mute. Daniel says, great work, CXPA. That was a great video that was both engaging and informative without being overwhelming.
Thank you, Daniel. So as we've heard from others, we've heard that the mission and vision really resonate with people, that the focus on helping you be successful in your career today into the future really should guide CXPA, but continue to wave the flag as well for the importance, not just of customer experience, but really of the role that you as individuals play in the importance of a customer experience journey. It's not about the software. It's not about the metric you choose. It's not about the process or the methodology. It really all begins with a great empowered CX professional supported by their CEO and their C-suite and supported by a community of peers that also believe in the power of CX. And so with that, I want to have a chance to bring some of those peers into this conversation and tell you about some of the work that is being done and let them tell you in their voice. And so first, we're going to share a little bit about a commitment that's near and dear to my heart, our core value, strength and diversity, and a group that we've put together to focus on diversity advancement.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Ramirez, and I volunteered to be the chair for the committee of the CXPA members that are focused on diversity, inclusion, and equity conversations. I think that globally, these topics are high on the agenda, and I think that that many companies are struggling with how these ideas kind of fit into their ways of doing business, and I'm deeply believe that as CX professionals, we have a particular set of tools and perspectives to understand different diverse customer bases and customer segments and how they interact with organizations. And I think that we have not yet really trained our tools and our expertise to sort of tackle some of these questions. So I'm hoping as the chair to be able to bring some of these conversations first to our committee, but then to the broader CXPA membership. I think really to equip you to be in a position to help support these conversations in your organization, and that being on a global basis. So far we've had some great response. I've been joined by many people who wanted to be part of this sort of special effort, and so we fortunately one of the key milestones so far is the committee has gotten organized, and we've had our first session, and I think have started to map out an agenda. And I think that our goal is to first try to articulate some operating principles, but then to be able to, as quickly as possible, kind of pivot to a plan of action and really try to move this forward. I know that I share on behalf of the committee a sense of urgency to not just have these conversations, but to see how we as an organization really drive to action as quickly as possible. So I just wanted to say, this work is kicking off, and there's a forum on the CXPA website, so that even if you're not a member, we're going to be continuing to post updates in terms of our progress, and would love to have your thoughts and input, as this process continues. So Greg, that's our message for today.
I think that's really amazing. The work that you and the committee are doing, Stephen, is so important to not just CX, but also to this world, our career. If we can be successful, we will find new ways to engage broader audiences. We will find ways to expand the way that we work with our colleagues and our peers. And we'll find ways to incorporate diversity and inclusion throughout the entire customer experience journey. And that has such great potential for all of us to grow, both individually and as organizations. So thank you to you and your committee. We'll get a link to that posted in the space. But I wanted to share with you that here we have a note in from Rania, who's watching from the Gulf Coast countries. Agree totally. We need to spread cultural education so we can increase that cultural competence I think we all can benefit along the way.
And Greg, I would just say again that I think that as CX professionals, we're uniquely qualified to be able to do that. I think that we have some really good, precise thinking about how to shape culture in organizations. And so I look forward to trying to, really capitalize on that knowledge base that we have as a group to be able to bring that to all of our organizations.
Yeah, I'm also excited because just the other day, Forrester named diversity and inclusion as one of the top CX trends for 2021, pointing out that exceptional companies will go beyond thinking about D&I as an employee experience issue and thinking about how to bring it into customer experience. And what better organization than CXPA to equip people with the how. with how to go ahead and do that and to support one another. And so I want to make a shout out and an ask of everyone on the call. We know that diversity and inclusion means different things throughout the world. And so we want to hear from you along the way. We'll put in a link to the forum as well. But we want to hear from you. What challenges are you seeing in your part of the world that we can help with? And either reach out to Stephen or myself, and we'll find ways to make sure that we're including help and information on the challenges that you face. But again, thank you, Stephen. And Gabe, are you seeing anything else that we need to think about here?
I'm seeing, again, some kudos. Amazing work, Stephen and team. Happy to be part of CXPA. Greetings from Uganda, from Dorothy.
Welcome.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Great. Carl asked, will we know who's on the committee?
Sure. As a matter of fact, we're going to do a blog post in the discussion forum that is going to have a link to not only the discussion forum where you can be involved, but each member of the committee so that you can see that. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the other committees that are underway and who's on those as well. But yeah, we're excited about that. If you're interested in getting involved, again, drop a note to Stephen or myself. And anytime that you're interested in getting involved, keep in mind this is a section of the website called Get Involved, and there's a volunteer town square. That's where we're currently accepting nominations for the board of directors, and that's where we post all of our volunteer opportunities as they come up. Thank you, Carl.
Great. Great, wonderful. Would love to hear more comments. Please feel free, post your comment. We'll definitely address them on the program. Stephen, Greg, thanks for your comments. I want to take a moment to introduce our next guest, and that is JC Paradise, CCXP. JC, I know that there's a lot of work that's happening around CCXP, and so wanted to give you a chance here to give us an update on what's new.
Oh, great. Thank you, Gabe. Just to introduce myself, my name's JC Paradise. For 2 years now, I've been the chair of the CCXP Advisory Committee, and I have another year. I want to acknowledge Gabe for being a member and certified as a CCXP, and also congratulate anyone who's on this town hall who's also a CCXP. And if you're not, I encourage you to look into it. It's really important. I just want to take this morning, at least morning for me, and give you a brief status of the CCXP. Right now, we have almost 1,100 CCXPs around the world. We're very strong, and the interest is expanding tremendously on a global basis. And both CX professionals and the managers who might be hiring CX professionals are expressing a lot of interest, which I think is pretty good. I want to just share with you one of the major initiatives that are underway is a job analysis that's going to inform our CCXP exam. Basically, the content will be effectively changed and revised in around spring 2020. The job analysis, just to kind of share with you, job analysis will update the exam to include some of the current best practices that you CX professionals are already using out there in the field. And right now we just finished with a survey from people in the field, CX professionals like yourself, to get your feedback as far as what should be included. And we got over 500 responses. So I want to thank anyone who participated in that. That's really helpful to us. And just to kind of assure the people, what this really means is that for the CCXP exam, this is like a new edition of a textbook. We had the areas of competency, the points and techniques and tactics and such like that. If there are new ones that people are using that are true to be effective, we want to include that in the exam for the future. So that's the general purpose of the job analysis. Now, before I hand it back to Gabe, I just want to kind of open it up, see if there are any questions on the CCXP that I could answer.
JC, we did get one. Brandy asks, will this be taking effect in spring of 2020 or spring of 21? I'm assuming 21. Right?
21, yeah, yep. 20, if I misspoke before, yeah, 2021.
Fantastic. So if there's any other questions, please put them in the chat. We'll definitely get to them. But JC, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of exciting work that's happening around CCXP to make sure that it's continually relevant and up to date.
Yes.
So that's great. That's great. Greg, I want to bring you in here, see if you have any comment, because I know, CCXP is amazing. It's one part of the puzzle, and that there's a lot of work around this area.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, JC, to you and your committee. The CCXP program is a cornerstone for CXPA. I want to say thank you to Valerie Peck, CCXP, and her colleagues who have created a peer-to-peer CCXP support community within the CXPA discussion forum. So if you're a CXPA member and you're thinking about earning your CCXP, that's a great place to get started and get some peer-to-peer advice. And I want to give a shout out to CXPA's recognized training providers. These are folks in every corner of the world, and including online options, of course, that are trained and experienced and have been reviewed and vetted to show that what they're doing is in line with the CXPA framework. They're helping organizations to advance their CX programs, and they're helping individuals prepare to earn the CCXP. So that's fantastic. And then, of course, the thing that we're most excited about is how the CCXP team was able to come together and pivot and make sure that everybody's able to take the CCXP exam, either by using a remote online proctor solution or by attending a in-person test center in their area. So if you're trying to figure out what to do with that extra time that we all have in 2020, and that's a little bit of a joke. It does feel like still spring 2020. But if you're actually buckling down and saying, how do I take control of my career? Earning your CCXP is a great way to do it.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. It looks like we've got a question here that's come into the chat. Sure. Are the changes discussed in addition to the exam, or will the entire exam or 100 questions change?
The 100 questions will stay the same. There'll be a different mix. If it turns out that there's a need for different types of questions, they will be substituted in for that. But the 100 questions will remain as the number in the exam itself.
Yeah, great, JC. We've also got another question. How often, from Nate? Nate asks, how often does an individual CCXP need to be recertified?
Well, recertification right now, there are continuing credits that you have to earn over the course of the 2 years that your membership lapsed or is in term. And what your job would be to earn those credits, whether through webinars, classes, and things like that, they're available. And then, of course, pay your renewal fee. But you don't have to go back and be recertified. That means take the exam again, right, unless, of course, you were to let it lapse for quite a period of time, and then you have to start over again.
Yeah, but it's a two-year period.
Yes, 2-year period, and you have, I think we have to earn like 20 of these credits over the course of the 2 years. And I myself have earned them by volunteering with CXPA. There's a lot of great webinars and broadcasts that are available. Just take a look at the calendar, and I'll tell you, no matter where you are, you can kind of participate in those, and it's a great way to kind of pick up on some of the latest practices. So I encourage people to look into that.
Fantastic. Fantastic, JC, and thank you for this work. And Greg, I see a question that's coming in here to the chat that I think is a good segue into our next discussion. Larry asks, are there thoughts to work with institutions to incorporate the CCXP framework in courses?
Thanks, Larry. That's a great question, and that's something that's very much on the minds of the CXPA board and staff. And in fact, we've established a volunteer committee being led by Stephanie Thune, CCXP, to work on documenting how CX is currently being taught in colleges and universities. As I had a chance over the last 18 months to travel and to meet different CXPA members, I found that there are a lot of you that are teaching in colleges and universities. I'm thinking of Derek Bildfeld up in Toronto, who mentioned to me that he was teaching a course nearby. And I'm thinking of Bob Asman, who teaches at Rutgers in their CX program. And I'm also thinking of people who told me that they were enrolled in taking courses in CX programs, and whether it's a certificate program or a short program. Just the other day, Serena Riley was teaching at a program in Michigan. And so it's sort of neat to see all of those things that are going on, but it raises the question, just how many programs are there out there that are teaching CX? And if they're teaching CX, are they teaching CX in what we would consider to be a complete and meaningful way? And so that's what this committee has begun to do. And pretty soon you'll be seeing there was an update in the discussion forum on cxpa.org the other day. Pretty soon you'll be seeing a data collection effort where we'll be asking you to contribute what you know about what's happening in your area. We've identified 10 programs in between Argentina and Peru, a master's program in Spain. I just saw an update yesterday on social media on a program in Athens, Greece. So we want to collect all of those so that we know exactly what's going on, and then we can figure out what the next step is. Is it CXPA developing a curriculum? Is it CXPA volunteering speakers? Is it creating a guide to CX programs? Because many of them are very strong, but we also noticed one that was teaching being a customer experience specialist, and it really seemed to be more focused on how to be a customer support specialist. And so we don't want people starting with the wrong perception along the way. So that's another piece of work that's going on. We hope to have that compilation done by early January 2021 so that we can begin that next stage of what are the similarities and differences. What departments is CX housed within? Another group that's been going on or getting started is a group that is focusing on how CXPA can be even more welcoming to our new members. And thank you to our new members who are joining the call here today. This group is going to be looking at the way that we have our messaging, the way that we set up recommendations when you join CXPA. And that group will have its kickoff meeting pretty soon coming up here. And of course, much of the work of CXPA continues to be delivered by the fabulous local and regional networks. And they've done an especially amazing job during 2020, adjusting to the new Zoom meeting formats. In fact, we've seen collaborations where CXPA members from Atlanta are attending programs in the United Kingdom. We've seen groups that are collaborating and working together between Switzerland and Amsterdam, and between all the way across Canada, Toronto and other areas working together to have a unified program. So we're really excited about what's going on between the networks, and we wanted to take this opportunity to pull out for special recognition one of the meetings that happened between a two-network collaboration earlier this year. And for that, I'd like to bring CXPA's Vice Chair, Barbie Fink, on screen for that special recognition.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to see so many people here from around the world. So this Extra Mile Award recognition that Greg was talking about goes to the organizers and panelists of the Inspiring Racial Equity, How CX Professionals Can Guide Their Organizations to Tackle This Urgent Issue webinar that was held this past summer. The CXPA board felt that this recognition was deserved because of the collaboration that it shows between CXPA networks and higher academics. It's demonstration of the ability for groups to pivot, to quickly respond to current events, and it's demonstration of CXPA's core value of connected strength in diversity. Having attended this session, for me, it really is a way of having being part of a conversation, understanding some of the challenges that we face in the world, and figuring out how we each can personally make a difference in the world around us. And I think that's what all of us do on a regular basis. That's why we're in this field. We want to make a difference for customers. We want to make a difference for each other. And as we look at the world around us, I hope that watching this will give you some courage and some inspiration to take action and to make a difference. So the program itself is available to CXPA members and also to others who want to view it on CXPA's YouTube channel in the 2020 CXPA Virtual Events playlist. And the people that I especially want to thank and recognize who pulled this together are Allison Block, Elizabeth Curtin, Gary David, PhD and CCS, Rich Dorfman, Sandra Mathis, CCXP, Tim Ozerski, Charlotte Reel, who had the initial idea to pull this together, Jerry Seufert, Carl Charisse, CCXP, and Brett Sharp. So thank you for coming together, for making a difference. And I want to congratulate all of you for winning this Extra Mile Award recognition. The other thing that I want to talk about today is our board of directors for 2021. So we are moving into a 3-year term for anybody who is a member of the board of directors. Nominations are currently open, and you can find them easily by going to the Get Involved volunteer area of the CXPA website. And I would encourage anybody who wants to be a part of the leadership for this organization going forward, who has experience and wants to make a difference in the world around us and with our organization, to go ahead and take a look at the selection criteria that is a part of our next board of directors. We are looking for things that represent our core values. So you will see that outlined on the website, and you have until November 13th to apply if you are interested. And then we have a selection committee, and I'm really, really pleased that we'll be having our kickoff meeting for the selection committee tomorrow. And for the first time ever, our selection committee includes 3 members at large from the CXPA. So thanks everyone. I'm going to turn it back over to Greg for additional comments.
Thank you, Barbie. Your leadership is really inspiring, and I'm really looking forward to working with you together to bring so many of the ideas that we've been talking about today to life. You have big shoes to follow in following Annette, but I feel confident that you and the team and the folks that will come forward in the board selection process will be able to rise to that challenge. In order to support the work that we've been hearing about, we've done a little bit of housekeeping. And part of that housekeeping is what we call bylaws. The bylaws are the guidelines that are used for the organization to make sure that we're operating not only in accord with the legal regulations, but also in accord with sort of our hopes and desires, and what we've agreed as a community is important to accomplish and to bring forward. And so the bylaws, which were originally written 9.5 years ago when the CXPA was founded, are now being updated to reflect what we've heard in the conversations here. First and foremost, we've heard that people would like to have an increased opportunity to be involved in this exciting work that is going on, and increased opportunities to serve on the board, including making sure that we've designated seats for international representation. As CXPA moves from a group that started in Boston, Massachusetts, and now is clamoring to be established as a network in Singapore, as well as other places in the world. So thank you. We appreciate that growth, and we want to make sure that your voice is heard and represented in and along the way. The second is in order to make sure that there is an opportunity for more people to participate, we are shortening the board terms. We heard loud and clear that people appreciated the many years that people have given on the board of directors, but they also believe that in order to be innovative, to be sharp, to have different voices, and to move faster, it would make sense to shorten the term length of the board of directors. So whereas it used to be possible to be on the board of directors for 6 years or even up to 9 or 10 if you were serving as an officer, now it's a 1-3-year term representation plus service as an officer if that happens. But the last is really focusing on what we hear is most important and most reflective of what's going on in the CX marketplace. And that is not to look at the way that membership is purchased, but rather to look at the day-to-day work that individuals are doing in their organizations, and to make sure that our bylaws and our membership classes reflect what you believe and what you have told us along the way. And that is that there should be a tremendous focus on the CX professional. The CX professional being a catalyst that works across the organization to deliver the customer experience. And that CX role applies whether you're a direct employee of a company, a freelance individual who is on a contract basis, maybe performing a 1 or 2 year assignment to assist in a CX strategy, CX journey, or you're working as a consultant who in day-to-day works on voice of the customer, works on design experience, works on metrics, return on investment. So that's our fundamental first class of membership. And then the second is really to look at those that are valued partners to CX professionals, the folks that bring us the software platforms, that bring us the methodologies, that bring us the specialized, in-depth, AI-enabled resources that help us do our jobs better. And that their job within their company is to help develop those resources and bring them to our attention, and then make sure that we're supported in the work that we do. So that's our second class of membership categories, is CX service providers that would be working on providing those services to us. We've received very positive feedback to date on the bylaws, but we'd love to hear what your thoughts are and what your questions are and what you want to make sure we keep in mind as we look at not only the bylaws, but we also look at what programs, products, and services to bring forward for you for 2021.
Yeah, Greg, I would love to see some comments on LinkedIn too, or to hear people's feedback around some of those changes that you just outlined. I did receive one question from a member who is not able to join us live today. Sam Aborn asked in regard to these bylaws. He said, I'm a bit confused on the class of membership and what makes someone a professional member versus a provider member. Is it something you could spend a little bit more time on?
Thanks, Gabe. Yeah, I think that, there's always a gray area when it comes to thinking about the roles and responsibilities in membership classes and in associations. And what we want to make sure is that we're really remaining true to that commitment that we are CXPA, the Customer Experience Professionals Association. And so the first class of membership is the CX professional membership. And you'll know that someone is a CX professional when their day-to-day activities, the way that they're compensated, and the activities that they're evaluated on for their performance are directly related to creating a customer experience. So that's distinguished a little bit from folks that are using customer experience as obviously part of their everyday life, but what they're compensated for and what they're responsible for and what they're evaluated for is a sales quota or a number of introductions or the number of clients that they've been able to bring on board. Customer experience is that art of working across the organization to bring people together and to influence things on a large scale element. And when you know a CX professional, you can see the CX professional, and those are the conversations that our people have on the discussion forums in our spaces. So we have that. Customer experience professionals, every single one of them, whether you work for a software company or you work for a real estate company, every single one of them, regardless of whether their membership was bought individually or bought by their company, every single one of them will be eligible to participate in CXPA, serve on the board, and ascend to be an officer within the organization. We also have a membership class for people who want to network and build their relationships with customer experience professionals. This membership class, the CX service provider space, is more, it can be viewed more as a vendor relationship. The folks in this area are looking to build their network so that they can help us all understand how their software, how their tools, how their research can help us do our jobs better. And we want them to be welcome within CXPA. In fact, we've dedicated up to 3 seats on the board of directors for folks that come from that category. But they're not the core audience of CXPA either. So while they're eligible to be on the board, they're not eligible to become an officer.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Greg. Thank you for really explaining that, I think, in a really thorough and in-depth way. Just looking through here, a lot of positive comments. One I wanted to highlight that came in about 15 minutes ago that I didn't get to display on the screen, but I think really encompasses a lot of the discussion that we've had today. Is from Amit, who says, I call this inclusive XM. Being inclusive is being considerate and embracing everyone without bias. Anyone could make unintentional mistakes. However, truly inclusive organizations are the ones that detect and rectify their mistakes proactively. And I think, I mean, would you agree inclusivity is a big part of what we've been talking about here through all these changes and developments?
Absolutely. And I think that, inclusivity helps us all grow. That's what we're looking to do with CXPA, is to hear more voices and to involve more voices from around the world. That's what we encourage you to do within your organization. But I think Amit also hit a second word there that is so important to the customer experience journey and customer experience movement, and that is proactively. If you're not thinking about what your customer is experiencing before they experience it, you're missing your opportunity to avoid a problem. So we're working together to really help one another, not only get the things that we know, but also to tap into the power of the community. Has anyone else around the world experienced this question before? Or how have other people dealt with this? Those are some of the most powerful and valuable pieces on cxpa.org. And with that, I want to acknowledge and note, there was a comment in the chat that some of the links that are being shared may not be accessible to everyone. I apologize for that. As you move across to the cxpa.org website, some of the information there is members only. And so if you're not logged into the website, you won't be able to see that information. But if you jump across to that link up in the top right hand corner, there should be a sign in button or login button. Go ahead and create an account, log in, you'll be able to access everything there as well.
Yeah, Greg, thank you. I think I, like so many on the chat, are energized by today's discussion. Hope that everyone gets a chance to join us at cxpa.org. Become a member if you're not already a member. And we'll keep this conversation going. And we'll see you back here on LinkedIn very soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.